Hello, everybody. This is Sophia Mona Lisa, and I want to welcome you back since October, our last ceremony. To this ceremony, things have changed. In case you haven't been following my newsletters, we weren't going to be doing these ceremonies as had been intended. It all felt complete back in October. But then after Venus was able to rise as evening star, that event happened on December 1st, I received a message from Sophia that she wanted us to continue to gather for these gate activations because if you may recall, Carol and I had already received the information that the sacred feminine would be coming through at each gate activation, giving messages. And Sophia said, we still need those messages to come through. So I contacted Carol and I said, this is what I'm getting. We still need to do this. Are you okay with that? And she kind of chuckled at me and said, well, I already knew we would be doing that. So she'll be joining us shortly. So the message that's going to be coming through today is going to be from Mother Mary, and it's related to this first gate activation of the Venus Ascent Journey. That activation is actually happening on Christmas Eve day this year. So I think it's really a beautiful synchronicity that Mother Mary is giving the message for the gate activation that's happening on Christmas Eve day. So we know when the gate activation occurs because Venus and the moon are standing together in the sky, and that's going to be at 18 degrees of Capricorn. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that chart in a bit. And as it starts to rise and go through this ascent journey, the first gate activation is activating the root chakra, and we call this gate the gate of manifestation. So our resurrection point ceremony that we had in October took place at our Venus temple in New Orleans. This ceremony is taking place with our Venus temple in Hawaii. And for those of you that didn't get to see the Venus temple ceremony that we did in Hawaii when we installed the rose gold Christos Sophia light codes, I will put the link in the description box below so that you can go back and enjoy that ceremony. And also there's a lot of information about this specific temple that I'm not going to repeat here that you can glean from that video as well. So just to kind of give you a reference, this is the map of the Hawaiian Islands. And so this temple is on this island over here of Kaua'i. So here's kind of a smaller map of the entire island of Kaua'i. And then if you break out this piece, you can kind of see if you follow the coastline over here, that this piece here kind of matches up to this part of the island. And then on that coastline, if you come in, this is where the monastery is. So just to kind of give your mind a visual reference point to where the temple is located. And so this is what the temple looks like.
Oh, wow.
Well, the monastery is what the monastery looks like. The actual temple is underneath this monastery. This is a Hindu temple monastery. It was the first Hindu temple that was built outside of the Eastern world into the Western side of the world. And again, there's a lot more information about this monastery in the video that I'll link below. And to remind you that each of the Venus temples have their own Venus temple guardians. And these are the guardians of this particular Venus temple, Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, and actually Nandi is in this picture, but the slide kind of cropped him out. He would be down here at the foot of Shiva's feet. So these are the Venus temple guardians that the Venus temple guardians are always present when we show up at the temple and do ceremony there. So just for you, again, to be aware of and to bring that back into your awareness, because it has been quite a few months. Now, what I want to talk to here, I'm having trouble putting my little thingy here, is this is, hold on a second. I'm having just a little bit of a challenge. Let me do it this way. There. This is the chart from December 1st when Venus did her rise as evening star. And I did a whole video on this. And again, I'll put the link to that video in the description. But I'm bringing it back here because I say in that video that this event of Venus rising out of the underworld is the general, like, overarching umbrella theme for all of these gate activations that are happening in this ascent journey. And in that video, I talked about this opposition and I talked about this trine, but I didn't go so far as to speak to this aspect here. And I wanted to take a little moment to just bring this into your awareness that, you know, this Venus rising from the underworld is happening in the sign of Sagittarius. And as you can see from this glyph, for Sagittarius, it's that arrow. The archer is known as the symbol for Sagittarius, that arrow. And you can see here that between this opposition and this trine, that there actually is these sextiles to this rising point that is creating that arrow in the sky. And while I didn't speak to that specifically in the previous video, because I thought that was probably a little too heavy for people to like dive into, I really felt called to bring your awareness to this effect that was happening, because with Sagittarius, the archer is letting the arrow go, and the goal that it's catapulting to is that highest spiritual truth. So I invite you to click on the link in the description to watch that whole video, and as I talk about it, keep this specific aspect in mind in terms of how the sacred feminine, divine wisdom as Sophia, source, cosmos, however you connect with the universe in terms of that creative energy, even built that glyph into that dance as Venus was rising out of the underworld, and reminding yourself that this dance is influencing everything that we'll be doing at each of these gates that are coming up, these gate activations. So let me remind you here that this is the pathway that we are going to be moving through. This is the pathway that Sophia gave to me in the underworld phase of the previous synodic cycle. And so as we went through the entire morning star phase, where Venus goes through that descent journey, where we were activating each of the Venus temples with those Sophia Christ codes, we were coming down through each of these chakras. And now as we begin the ascent journey, we're coming up through each of these chakras. And here at this root chakra, this chakra that we call the gate of manifestation, we have access to the mother aspect of Sophia. And so you can see by looking quickly at this slide, you know, most people are familiar with the Holy Trinity of Christ as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. A lot of people are not familiar with the Holy Trinity of Sophia, which is Mother, Daughter, Holy Soul. And so we are able, with this gate activation, to really tap into the frequencies, the energies of that mother aspect of Sophia. We can tap into this divine gift, these spiritual gifts of sovereignty consciousness. And this is why at this particular gate activation, Mother Mary is coming forward to give us a message related to the mother aspect in this ceremonial space. Now, these are the aspects that are in the sky on December 24th. And I'm going to show you on the next slide what this piece here in the purple looks like, where Venus and Moon are standing together with Magdalene. We know that's your embodiment of Sophia consciousness, Mercury, the cosmic messenger, and how they're in sextile to Juno, the goddess of sacred partnership, and Neptune in Pisces, and this semi-sextile to Saturnia, the goddess of sovereignty, in Aquarius. So I won't go into a lot of depth around all of these aspects and what these frequencies are activating, but remember that this gate activation does have to do with that fourth strand of DNA. And so for those that are still working in timelines in the linear time and not so much in the nonlinear time, they can connect with this activation of the fourth strand of DNA. And if you choose to have a clearer understanding of how that the spiritual gifts of that fourth strand of DNA are being activated in you through these frequencies, you can reach out to me for a DNA activation reading. But let's look closely here at where these aspects to this Venus moon are taking place. So here we see it. Here's the Venus and the moon standing together at this 18 degrees of Capricorn, with Magdalene and Mercury together in 22 degrees, standing very close together. That's where the gate activation is happening. And what we see is we've got this sextile over here to Pisces with Juno and Neptune, and they are in what we call semi-sextile to Saturnia here in Aquarius. Notice that this formation, and this is significant, that this formation here, the sextile and the semi-sextile, is very reminiscent of what we saw in the sky over here, right? The tip of that arrow. Now, while this is a sextile on both sides, not a semi-sextile on both sides, it's making that formation, the tip of the arrow in the sky. And where is the tip of the arrow pointing to? Saturnia and Aquarius. And so I'm going to speak a little bit about this right now. So let's talk about what is the general message of this cosmic dance that's going to be happening here in the sky with this gate activation. And so what we see here, that it's really about the mother aspect of Sophia, which is represented by the moon, and the daughter aspect of Sophia, which is represented by Magdalene. How these two aspects of Sophia are sharing their message of sacred partnership. And the specific message has to do with remembering the divine creative partnership that exists between you and Source. You have your inner Sophia, your inner Christ energies that are extensions of the cosmic Christ, the cosmic Sophia, and it's in their sacred union and your sacred union with Source through your inner Christ and your inner Magdalene that you have this divine creative partnership. Now, I want to take this a next step deeper, but to do that, I have to bring in this piece here. And it has to do with Maria's meditation to open the lock of the heart that she has been doing for 11 days. And for some of you that are present, I emailed you a personal invitation to join us in this meditative practice And I've been doing it. I did miss one day. I started a little bit late and I did miss a day. So today is my day 10, but this has been a profoundly, what is the word I want to use? I'm having a hard time finding the word, and it's tapped into the wisdom of the heart space that has been able to reveal itself to me through this meditation process. And I specifically had an experience yesterday when I was trying to put together these slides for this ceremony related to the fact, which is actually a manifestation of this cosmic dance, where I was so grounded into my heart space from doing these meditations that my mind, the lower mind, the critical analytical mind, was unable to engage. And so it kind of reminds me of the difference between how maybe a painter or a musician allows this creative process to flow through them. The mind is not engaged. The mind is not solving problems. It's not figuring it out. It's not deciding what it's going to look like. The vision and the process of that creation is flowing through you. And this is what this aspect in the sky is reminding us of. With these DNA strands coming online and being activated, and especially with this 4th strand of DNA, we are being allowed to remember how we have that creative dance with source. And that creative dance is not about engaging the analytical mind. And of course, we've been trained, especially here in the United States, through the public education system, that everything is about using the analytical mind, figuring it out, following the steps, staying within the boundaries of what is acceptable. And what happened to me is when I tried to approach creating these slides, my mind wanted to shift me into that entrainment, but my heart space that I was grounded into wouldn't allow it. And what actually happened is my brain physically started to hurt, and I became overwhelmed to the point where my brain was shutting down and I couldn't process any information. And even looking at the slides, I wasn't able to even engage with them and what I was trying to express through them, because this whole new remembering of how we create was driving, and the mind was over here kind of creating resistance about, no, I need to pull you over here. We don't do that. This is what we do. And it was, I can't even find all the words to put around that, what happened through me as I was doing these slides yesterday. But I was keenly aware of the fact that we are being reminded by source, the universe, the Sophia Christ consciousness, of how to come back into that natural, authentic dance with source. And then that it was actually a manifestation of these frequencies that I was working with already, because remember, we're dealing with non-linear time. Yes, in terms of the timeline, in terms of the ephemeris, in terms of the calendar, these frequencies are coming together on December 24th. But in the eternal now, we're already working with those frequencies. We're already tapped into them. And so I was already experiencing this expression of these aspects in my own unique way. Each of you may experience the manifestation of these frequencies in a completely different way. And as I've said in previous videos, I'm always feel a responsibility to share how I experience it, so that it creates the space for when you start to have your own experience, you'll have the aha and won't be stuck in trying to figure out what's this all about. You'll have already been given the allowance to know, oh, this is how I'm experiencing, how I'm personally remembering this divine creative partnership with Source, and how Source creates through me, and how I create with and for Source. I mean, it's just an amazing activation. And again, very much tied in to that fourth strand of DNA and the spiritual gifts related to it. And I know without a doubt that everything is synchronistic. Everything happens in perfect divine timing. That for me, doing this meditation practice of opening the lock of the heart that Maria so generously gifted all of us from her own heart space was a part of having that realization and that knowing. And so you can pick up on this meditation at any point. Start with the day one and go through the 11 days. I again encourage you and invite you to do that, to have your own experience with it. So want to remind you that we are using this, and let me just stop the share so I can see everybody and make sure that you can see this. We are also using the quantum quartz crystal technology. And just to bring this screen back to show this to you, hold on a second. I'm reminding you that the one tip represents the yang side, the sacred masculine side, or the Christ energy. And the other tip represents the yin side, the sacred feminine side, the Sophia. And that right here, where the angles of these two cross, there is this convergence point that they call the eye of the crystal, where you are actually tapping into that divine love frequency. And so what we're seeing through the structure, the crystalline structure of this tool, quantum tool, is actually a replication of this Sophia Christ consciousness coming together in sacred union. And I've said on many occasions that the manifestation of this union of divine wisdom and divine will is that divine love frequency. And it's through activating that divine love portal, it's really like a portal, that you can go in and create whatever you desire in the quantum field and have it show up for you. So let me stop my share again. Does everybody remember that? And we did use our crystals at the resurrection point ceremony. Remember, I'm going to put the link to that below so that you can see how we did that. So if you have your crystal today, great. If you don't, it's not a big deal. But just reminding you that we are engaging this quantum crystal technology, and reminding you again how we use the technology, the 3 C's: clear, charge, and connect, and then visualize and bridge. And so we use the intention, our thought as the intention. We use our breath to program the crystal. And I don't want to take a lot of time here to go into that. It's in that resurrection point video if you want to go back and look at that. But if you've got this crystal and you want to use this technology now, you can. And so this is the thing that I need you to remember. And let me stop the share again. Because we found out from Isis that when we did that resurrection point ceremony in October, that Maria so generously gave us that song to help activate those DNA strands. Our intention was to activate the third strand of DNA because I had received that the subsequent strands would be activated at each of these gate ceremonies. But in fact, all 12 strands of DNA were activated. And so what we're doing differently here, I had said, this is done. We don't need to do this anymore. But I told you that Sophia came back and said, please hold the space so the sacred feminine can share her messages. What Carol and I agreed, and with guidance from the sacred feminine, is while we are accustomed to working in non-linear eternal time, we understand that there are many people that just haven't expanded to that place yet. And so what we will be doing is we will be holding the focus and the space for anybody that's desiring to travel to the Venus temple in Hawaii to actively bring online that fourth strand of DNA. I'm going to call in sacred space. We're going to go into Carol receiving the message. But if you've got your crystal, you can program your crystal to amplify your fourth strand of DNA and any of the spiritual gifts that are being unlocked for you. You can program your crystal to know that in your multi-dimensional self, yes, you're sitting here consciously engaged with this message from Mother Mary in this circle of women, but as a multi-dimensional eternal being, you are actually at that Venus temple in Hawaii, holding the sacred space for those that are choosing to travel there and have that strand of DNA activated for themselves. So there's so much that you can do with this crystal, with your intention. And yes, intentions, thoughts do create things. Combining it with the power of this quantum technology is just like, rocket boosters. So just letting you know that this is going to look and feel very differently than what we've done before. Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Just give me a thumbs up saying, yeah, we're not expecting the same shtick. Okay. So let me go back to the slides and see where I am on the slides. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to establish our sacred space. I'm going to call in our galactic collaborators, because remember, not only are they here working with us, they're also at that Venus temple working with that aspect of our multidimensional self that is present there, and all those humans that are choosing to travel there in their light bodies to do this work. And so once we have this sacred space established, then I'll turn it over to Carol to have that message from Mother Mary to come in. So I'm just going to ask you to get comfortable, make sure your feet are comfortable and supported. Your hands are feeling comfortable and supported, and just close your eyes and just check in with yourself and just start to notice the breath, the inhale of the breath and the exhale of the breath. And with your breath, you can bring your breath all the way down into your Earth Star chakra and connect with the heart of Gaia. And with your breath, you can bring it all the way up to the Soul Star chakra and connect with the heart of our galaxy, the galactic center. And you can expand your personal light with the breath as it comes in and it comes out to connect with the unified source field, the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, the Sophia Christ consciousness. Just take a few more inhales and exhales, feeling yourself coming into your body deeper and deeper. Noticing that your frequency is starting to shift as you come more home to yourself. You now bring your awareness into your heart space In your heart space, this is the throne of your inner Christ, of your inner Sophia, divine will and divine wisdom. And just like we've often seen over here in the West in these marriage ceremonies where the bride and the bridegroom are each holding a candle and they put their candles together to make one flame, just see in your heart space the flame of your inner Christ, the flame of your inner Sophia. And as you watch them, these two flames, and as you continue with the inhale and the exhale, observe in its own perfect timing how the two flames join together and become one flame. Take a moment to feel into that and to see that igniting of the sacred flame within your heart. And now see that the sacred flame of your heart is connected with the sacred flame of the heart of every person in this circle. And with that connection, that beautiful circle of light, I claim this space for the Sophia Christ consciousness. I call in the cosmic Sophia and I call in the cosmic Christ. I call in Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. I call in our Arcturian and Pleiadian star beings that are assisting us in the manifestation, the unfolding of this galactic New Earth project. For everybody that is present here in this circle, and for all of you that will be joining us in the nonlinear space at some future moment on this linear timeline, I call in our mentorship councils, our galactic teams, and our spirit allies. And I call in the Venus temple guardians, Nandi, Ganesha, Parvati, and Shiva. And so here we are all together in this sacred space. And so whenever Carol is ready to present or bring in Mother Mary, the space has been created for you to do that. And I'm just going to share a slide that Mother Mary asked us to create for her for this part of her presentation.
As we're getting ready, sorry, she comes forth in this voice, so I will listen. Sophia heard this last night when she spoke to her, and I was like, that's not my voice. So we come from the roots of the earth. We come from the Gaia heart of the earth. As mother of earth, as mother of humanity, the voice sometimes carries the burden of the growth, of the leaving. Even though there is much love and gain and expansion as a mother, it is also important to acknowledge the loss ingrained with every mother's journey. The loss of love, the loss of family. All mothers, because they birth, also experience passings and deaths of their manifestation. Gaia has given birth and seen death of our children. Lilith has seen creation and death of our manifestation. This is a linear experience of mother. It is a 3D experience of manifestation, creation, and loss. As we rise up through the ascension of mankind, it's important that we accept the loss that is part of our journey. It is part of motherhood. It is the beginnings of all life, the beginnings of all death. This portal, this beginning, as we go forward, ascend, accept our light. So will the frequency change. So will the manifestation and vibration change. Who we are as females is not just flowers and spring. It is winter, hibernation, and acceptance of the stillness of non-life. That does not mean motherhood is all sad. It is a yin and yang of being a creator. When you create in 3D, there is also loss in 3D. When you exist in linear time, sorry, this hurts. Can we change? She's not done, sorry. It is important to acknowledge that pain is part of growth, but one does not need to exist only in the pain. As we become more than who we are, we grow, bring more light in. And as we accept the nonlinear love that is there, we also can ascend. Any questions? Sorry, this voice is hard. Does anyone have any, sorry. I'm really surprised she's coming through like this. I'm going to try and switch a little. So I'm reaching out for another female essence to connect with. And I'm feeling both Sophia and Mary Magdalene speaking that there is more to ascension than just grief, but grief and pain is even part of the birthing process. So when a child is born, even though there's great love, there is also pain and loss of the heavenly presence. Thank you for coming in. Sorry, that was rough. That was rough. Is that what it sounded like last night when she called you? I left a voice message from Sophia and Mona Lisa, and my voice did not sound like me.
It's okay. You're doing great. You're doing
So
great.
no, it's really difficult for me to speak and have a voice that's not familiar to me come through, if that makes any sense. And it's not what my mind expects her to sound like, if that makes any sense. So the fact that she came through speaking of the beginning of growth and pain and humanity is coming with pain and sorrow. I wasn't expecting that. So kind of sorry, it took me by surprise.
That's okay. And what I love about it, Carol, and I know she's still is that we're in this linear time of the winter. We'll soon be approaching the solstice point. And so it's interesting how she's tapped into those frequencies of being in that darkness, that silent time of the winter, and coming up to that place where the sun will stand still for 3 days, and then we will have equal light and equal dark, and how that is a part of creation.
So just everybody, I was not expecting any of that to come through. So, but then I never know. I never know.
It's okay.
Sorry.
So, it's okay. So at this time, if you have a question for Mother Mary, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, and Carol can share that with you.
What she's saying without, because I asked, please not let me speak with her, is through tonight, is if you wish her assistance in sleeping, as you lay down to visualize royal blue surrounding you, covering you, protecting you, and like cocoon it so that as you sleep, you pull in the energy of healing, the energy of Mother Mary, so that you can immerse yourself in the vibration of who she is in her highest form, not in her linear form as Mother Mary that lost her son. So she's offering that for, if you choose to use it when you go to bed, it will always be there to immerse yourself in the blue light, to be in the cocoon, and to just go forth into sleep with that.
That's a beautiful offering. I would just ask if you could speak to how all of those present and all of those that will see this in the future can connect more deeply with their own inner mother aspect of Sophia.
Sophia is saying that any creation, flowers, plants, painting, any creation that is giving birth to creativity, to life, any manifestation is connecting to Sophia. That is what she is. She is a creator. She is a manifester. So anytime you do that, and especially if you use the intention of the divine female, then you're adding that frequency. So it's one thing to be a gardener, but if another thing to be a gardener using your own divine femininity and your own divine light to grow. So you're adding more of yourself into the equation. So anytime you want to manifest or grow, sorry, my phone's acting up. Anytime you want to manifest or grow, to pull your own female vibration, to pull your own creator, because there's multi-dimensional creators, let's say that. In this world, there's male and female, but as humans, as more than humans, we are multi-dimensional. So you always have the choice of being your multi-dimensional creator. So you don't always have to be a female creator or a male creator. You could be a multi-dimensional creator, if that makes sense.
So I love that piece where she references how having blooming flowers in your home can connect you to that life-giving process of creation that the mother aspect of Sophia is so much a part of. I mean, I have blooming flowers in my home and I never even connected with them on that level before. I mean, this is like a whole new paradigm shift.
Yeah, it's who you are as a divine creator. It's an extension of who you are.
This morning, I was inspired to look more into the second chakra. And so I was doing some studying about that, and I'm going to go to the fabric store and get a nice silk orange piece of fabric to redo a little altar that I have going on. It's like it was stagnant. I need to freshen it up. And the second chakra seemed to be what I need to focus on today. So it's funny how this all ties in with what we just went over.
Yes.
Well, the second chakra is your creative center. It's the birthing center. It's the pleasure center. And yes, it doesn't have to all be grief, but in order for the flowers to bloom, something has to die. And after they bloom, they die, and then they come back again. I've got sitting on the patio right now is a Christmas cactus with hot pink flowers, and it's just absolutely ablaze with the pink. And I just repotted it into a bigger pot because it had outgrown the pot it was in. And I took a piece and I've started another one because it takes by pieces. You just stick it in the dirt and it works really well. But it's it reminds me that I probably need to bring that pot needs to come in the house so that I have something alive in the house, because I have everything is outside on the lanai, but that needs to come into that inside to remind me that I am a creator, because I'm not a very creative person. I am an extremely left brain person. And that right side is real difficult for me, but I'm working on it, and I'm way behind on Maria's the meditation that we've been doing. I'm like way behind, but I'll get it done at some point. I mean, there is, all in divine timing, but it is, it's good reminder that everything doesn't have to be about grief. It's part of it, but it's not all of it. It's just a little bitty tiny piece, and getting past that is the thing. And then of course, change is growth. And that's been my mantra for the last couple of weeks. Change is growth, because I have a hard time with change. As a fixed sign, I have a real hard time with change. But
so
yes.
my phone is acting up. So if I disappear, it's just nothing cosmic, it's just disappearing.
That's okay. That's okay. And I'd like to just really quickly speak to what Karen shared about the altar space and refreshing the altar space. And even Maria and I have talked about, refreshing altar space. I have 3 altars in my home. And so this is a place where we can allow stagnant energies to settle. And so, doing what Karen's doing to consciously refresh that altar space and to bring that life-giving energy back into the altar space. Even Gina, you could bring your Christmas cactus in and make an altar around it, because it brings in that devotional piece that Maria was speaking to in terms of the meditation practice. Not so much doing it as a practice, like this is something I have to do, these are the mechanics of how we do it, but engaging from the heart in that devotional space. And so on that note, Carol, what would Mother Mary like to say to us about that frequency of devotion and how it supports manifestation?
There's more than one here, by the way. So they are saying devotion is taking care of yourself. Devotion is not being devoted to Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene. Devotion is taking care of the Creator within yourself. And by taking care of yourself and your surroundings, you are giving to the Creator.
I love that. Does anybody else have a question for Mother Mary and Sophia and whoever else is with Carol at this time?
And also they say that if you are just quiet, there are so many ways that they are with you, whether it's quiet meditation or writing, or sometimes I have felt when I'm outside being quiet, I can feel their presence. So you don't have to be me to feel them, to interact with them, because they're there with you, for you, all the time. And you don't have to be aware, but sometimes you can just feel a loving presence around you or a loving light coming in.
Yeah. Okay, well, since there doesn't seem to be any questions from anybody else, is there any message in closing that she'd like to give so that she can feel complete with what she has for us today? I think I lost Carol. Okay, I will go back to my slides. And hopefully if she comes in, she'll let me know she's here. And now is the time for the sharing circle. So what I would like for you to feel comfortable doing through this sharing circle is to speak to anything about the messages that were shared that resonated with you, that gave you an aha, and or anything around the spiritual gifts of this fourth strand of DNA that you also may be already experiencing, showing up within you. So whoever has anything really, I mean, those are just kind of some jumping off places, anything that is coming up with them that's feeling a desire to be heard, to be witnessed, to have a voice given to it. This is the time. So please, whoever would like to go first, jump in.
I'll go.
Oh, Chrissy, thank you. Because I was going to call on you.
You were. It's really funny that I found my way here because, I asked some of the other women who we met at that gathering if they received your emails, and they didn't, or they overlooked them or whatever. But all the things that we're talking about resonate so much with me because I've been experiencing what you were saying. Like, I'm so out of touch right now with just thinking about logical, practical matters. And And that's the way I usually function. Like I do taxes, tax season is like right around the corner. And I'm like in this other space now. And when you started describing how you couldn't get your slides together, I was like, that is exactly how I've been feeling for a little while now. And also we're talking about all this, all these things to do with the sacral chakra and all your creative energy. And I've been going through so much of that. That's what all my healing's been about with Alba. I went and had my aura photographed yesterday, and it reads the levels of your chakras, and that one was lacking. And I had another healing, and the woman concentrated on my sacral chakra. And it's just so interesting that that's what this entire presentation has been focusing on so far. And it's just amazing that I found myself here.
Wonderful. What a
Yeah.
gift. What a gift for all of us to have your presence with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Helen, I know you've been processing a lot. And of course, the crucible is the place where we have those breakthroughs. Anything you'd like to share?
I just found it lovely to be at peace and calm and just enjoy the beauty of the whole time. It was lovely.
Thank you. I'm so happy you were able to make it today. We weren't sure you'd be
Boy,
able.
me too.
Yeah.
I think that was part of the peace and the calm part.
Yeah.
That's what I need right now.
And if I may say, and I hope I'm not crossing any boundaries here, I find it interesting how the mother aspect of Sophia cleared the path for you to show up because you've been so engaged in a mothering role. Did you make that connection?
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful,
I
isn't it?
begin to say how I offered it all up. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't begin to tell you. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. So I love to see the choreography, of how the cosmos, whether you want to focus on it as the divine mother or whatever, how it works and dances with us and choreographs these things to show up so uniquely and personally for each of us. Yeah. Maria, how about you? What would you like to share?
I am amazed by the synchronicities. I have been guided to offer these heart meditations, and now the meditation coming up that I will be sharing is a meditation that will strengthen the divine shield, and it's the mother, the divine mother, the cosmic mother energy, and it's the mantra Ma that is connected to calling to the mother. And Mother Mary has been coming up for me a lot lately. So yeah, it's inspiring to listen and see how connected we all are.
Yeah. When I was sitting in the circle with you this afternoon and you started speaking to that, I just was like, wow, what an amazing, another synchronistic manifestation of how, you're over there doing your thing and I'm over here doing my thing, and it's all a part of the same thing.
It's kind of obvious that we all are connected. Those
and how that sacred feminine energy, however you relate to her, is moving through each of us, creating through each of us. Yeah. I invite you, all of you, to go to Maria's site and also participate in this, it's, what is it again? The shield, the divine shield or shield of protection?
Let's see, Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, the Divine Shield meditation for protection and positivity.
Yeah. Very powerful. Maria works with Kundalini yoga. So these meditations are Kundalini yoga meditations.
Cool.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Karen, what would you like to share?
I would like to share that I have one child, and she just turned 26 this year. And I remember distinctly, I mean, I can still, like it's yesterday, holding her as an infant and having the awareness that part of being a parent is learning how to manage loss and separation. And it's one of the hallmarks of mental health, is being able to manage that. And it's been an ongoing process, because I would love to have her here. I mean, I would love to see her, but she's clear in New York and I'm in California, and I don't really get to see her very much. And so I've been a mother all my life, it seems, from the moment I was born. And so learning how to more effectively deal with my creative energy in ways that really support my adult self is kind of the horizon I'm looking at right now. Because it's always been about everybody else. Everybody else comes first. I've been on the back burner, but I'm breaking those patterns now. And I think that's why the second chakra came up for me this morning as I was jotting down some questions, like, why am I doing this? What is this all about? How come I neglect me? What is happening?
Right, right.
And there I went.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why that devotion piece, the message that Mother Mary gave about the devotion piece, is us taking care of ourselves. Really, I heard that as mothering ourselves. That just touched me so deeply. And I feel that that's kind of where you're tapping into.
Exactly. It was like permission.
Yes.
To cocoon and to just take care of me for the first time in my entire life. I mean, I'm 67 and it's like, it's time.
Wow.
So.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm getting a little teary-eyed because I'm a single mother too. And my son turned 33 this year. And I remember when, after he had graduated, he got his first professional job, and it was in South Florida, but then the business closed and he had to move to California. And that was so heart-wrenching for me to know that if anything happened to him, I couldn't get to him in a couple of hours to take care of him. And I can remember standing in the parking lot as his car drove away and just giving him back because I knew I couldn't be there, but I knew that she could be.
Yeah. And I take pride. I think I was an excellent mother. I was not perfect by any stretch of my imagination, but I did a great job because my daughter's very solid. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She can figure things out without having to call me all the time. And so I raised her to be interdependent. And she's thriving in ways that I wish I could have thrived in my life. But I did not have my mothering. But that's how I knew how to do it for her.
Right.
So
I hear you. Beautiful, beautiful. Gina, how are you? Best for last.
It's cold in the
You're
house.
all the best, right?
It's not as cold as it is where Maria is over in Sweden.
Right.
But
Not as cold.
it's cold for Florida.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. I'm thinking about a lot of things. I don't have those mothering skills. That's not my strong suit. So the saying of your children come through you, they're not part of you, they come through you. You hold them, you incubate them, and what have you. I mean, and it's not that I didn't take care of my kids when they were infants and small children, but I just don't have that. I don't have that I hate to say it, but I don't have the need or the desire to constantly be there for them. Never have. And it could be because of things that I went through. You know, the divorce from the first husband was horrendous, but I've learned that's one of the things I've been able to let go of very easily is my kids. They aren't mine. They're all adults. My youngest one is, how old is that little sucker going to be? He's going to be 41. And, you know, Karen's sitting there. She says she's 60. I'm 69. I'm going to be 70 next year, you know? And I don't have that kind of relationship with my children. I'm glad that my oldest is the only one that really communicates with me. I still talk to my son periodically, but not much at all. My middle one hasn't spoken to me in over 30 years. But she says that I don't judge, which I try not to. I can't say that I'm 100% on that one because I mean, I'm sure I do, but she uses me as more of a sounding board. We have built a relationship, and I look at that and I look at what my mother did, and we were never adult children, you know. I'm Maria. And she never did make that leap of, I don't have children, I have adult. My kids are adults. We were never adult to her. We were always her children, little children. And I don't have that. I don't regret it. I mean, it just is what it is. I like the relationship I have with my oldest, you know, who will be 48 come April. And we talk about a lot of different things. And so that's a good thing for me. But I just, you know, and sometimes I feel like I've missed out on something by not having that. I'm not the nurturer, as I said, you know, I don't have that. I'm not going to coddle, and I never did, even when I was teaching. It was kind of like I'm very blunt. So, you know, Sophia, you know me well enough to know that. I've never read Dale Carnegie's book on how to win friends and influence people. Not my strong suit, but you want to know, I'll tell you. So, but I like the message, and because I am learning to take care of myself. And I really liked the message on the cocooning thing at night when I go to bed at night, that I will try to incorporate that as well. But yeah, I'm not liking this really cool weather. I'm a summer baby. So, but thank you very much.
Well, and I would just like to acknowledge the mother aspect of yourself that really connects in a very mothering, nurturing way with animals. Gina is a pet sitter. She travels all over the state and out of state to do pet sitting for people. And I mean, I think that's, you know, maybe it's different than how you were with your own children, but that's definitely, I think, could be a way for you to look at your own inner mother aspect and how you engage that energy with the animals, and then maybe even kind of bring it back to yourself. How can I do this for me? Sometimes, you know, when we think, oh, children, human, I did this, animals, pets, I do that. Sometimes our mind, our analytical mind can't bridge. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that I can really see the mothering aspect in you and how it expresses through you. That's all I want.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And remember that the kids that come through us chose us because we could provide them something they need for their soul development. And so
Absolutely, Karen.
it is what it is.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my case, I was neglected by my mother. She didn't know what I needed. She couldn't connect with me emotionally at all. And so in my own parenting, I made it my priority to do my best to connect with my daughter emotionally on some level. And we all err one way or the other. And from what you're saying, Gina, your mom basically never let you be independent. And so you were hell bent on letting your kids be independent. And so there's nothing wrong with that. We all do that. And so that's what your kids probably needed. So whether they like it or not.
I never thought about looking at it that way, but thank you.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
See, there's a reason that I was able to make this gathering today.
Absolutely. Look at how the Divine Mother cleared the pathway for you to be here, right? You were going to
Yeah.
be traveling home, but somehow you made it home in time to be present. So it's amazing to see how she mothered each of us to be able to show up and share the space together.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
And I love what you said, Karen, about the connection. And for me, because my chart's ruled by Cancer, the Divine Mother energy, that emotional connection for me is how I relate to the mother energy. But you're right, not everybody connects on that level. I recall there was a book that was popular about love language, how some people connect by, doing things. And there were like 5 different ways that people show how they love each other. And my mother was very much a doer. And so I didn't feel an emotional connection. But now as an adult looking back, and I can see all the things that she did for me, it's like, wow, what an amazing sacrifice for her to have done those things for me. And I can see how she really did love me in her way. It was just a different language that I didn't understand, or as you say, connect to.
And the truth is, not all of us it's not really meant for all of us to be mothers. It's what we're socially expected to do, but not all of us need to make that choice. So.
Right. Right. And yet, whether we give birth to children or not, we are giving birth to some kind of creation on this planet. And so that mother energy will move through us. Yeah. Beautiful.
And I love that you do the pets, Gina.
Oh,
Animals are amazing.
I do too.
How do you have many?
I don't have any.
Oh, okay.
No, if I had pets at home, I couldn't go to people's houses and stay for a week or several, because this spring I'll be going to California for 3 weeks to pet sit for a little dog while they go to Europe. I'll be in Texas 3 weeks this summer while they go to Europe for 3 weeks. I'm getting pretty booked up.
That's wonderful.
I'll be taking care of Sophia's Romeo and Dolce when she goes to California for her birthday this next month.
Nice.
Yeah, my son bought me an airline ticket so we could spend my 60th birthday together.
Oh, that's nice.
See, she's younger than both of us.
I think Chrissy's the baby in the group.
Looks that way to me.
So is everyone complete with this sharing piece?
Oh, very much so.
Okay, let me go back to my slides. Thank you, everybody, for all of that stuff. Okay, here's the question answer part. So I'm just going to stop my share, just provide any opportunity about anything I discussed in the first set of slides, or anything about the work that we're doing in the Galactic New Earth Project, or with the DNA activations, anything at all that anybody desires any more clarity around. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay. All right. So our next ceremony is going to be on January 22nd. Now, that gate activation is the sacral chakra, and it is the gate of creation. So just to remind you that this gate activation at the root chakra is the gate of manifestation. The next one, the sacral chakra, is the gate of creation. And remember when I showed you that chart, as we move up, it's at that gate of creation, the sacral chakra, that we have access to the daughter aspect of Sophia. And of course, Mary Magdalene embodies that daughter aspect of Sophia. And so she will be speaking to us through Carol, while the gate activations on the 23rd, will be meeting on the Sunday, the day before, the January 22nd, also at 3 o'clock. That gate activation, for those of you that are working in that linear timeline, is activating the 5th strand of DNA. And that activation will take place at the Temple of the Ruby Fire, which is in Sedona, Arizona, and the Angel Valley Labyrinth there in the Venus Temple Knoll. I'll just tell you, if you want to get a heads up on that ceremony, I will go ahead and also put the link in the description box for the ceremony that we did at the Sedona Temple, just so that you can learn more about that temple space as well. So that'll be coming up. Okay, and as an aside, you know, all of my videos go on my YouTube channel, the Roseville Mystery School, and I'm in this new birthing process myself. So I know this wonderful woman, her name is Carissa, who has created this whole new logo for me for my YouTube channel and the Roseville Mystery School. And we're actually in the process. I've mentioned it a couple of times before, but it might have been missed by people. My work as the Golden Ray Center is actually being evolved into the Galactic Center. And so she's made me a whole set of YouTube slides that match the theme and the new logo and stuff that she's created for me for the Galactic Center. So I'll be unveiling those in the new year. But I just really, sometimes when you click on a video, you don't see the banner on the channel. So I just wanted to kind of take a moment to show this off, because I'm so proud of it. And I'm just amazed at how, just from having conversations with her, she really tapped into the energy of the mystery school and created this beautiful new logo for me.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. If you go out to YouTube, right, well, here, that's the next slide. If you go out to YouTube and you type in / at the Roseville Mystery School, it'll take you to my channel and you'll see the banner. And of course, all of that is technical expertise that I don't have, that you have considerations on how all of that shows up, whether you're looking at it on a laptop or a cell phone or whatever. She's managed all of that in a beautiful way. And I'll actually put her website in the description box, just to give her a shout out if anybody needs any kind of that work done. It's been an amazing experience, and I can hardly wait to do the big reveal on the Galactic Center next year, so that you guys can see how she's helped me take what I could feel as the vision of how this evolution is going to be unfolding and actually manifested in this graphic way. It's just incredible. So if anybody needs to contact me, you can send me an email at sophiamonalisa79@gmail.com. Especially if you're interested in having a DNA activation reading to find out how those aspects on the 24th are individually and uniquely activating you, what the spiritual gifts coming online in you are, how you can anticipate experiencing the unfolding of that. The DNA activation readings are very powerful. So you can just send me an email if you want to have that done. And then other than that, I just want to thank each of you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to show up. And hopefully we'll see you again in January at the next gate ceremony.
Nice to meet all of you.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Y'all stay great. Y'all stay safe.
Thanks.
You're out on the roads.
don't-
Watch out for the idiots because there's plenty of them out there.
That's for sure.
God,
So
they
if
seem to all have moved to Florida.
Yeah, they're from California.
A lot of them are, yeah.
I
We got a
know.
lot more from New Jersey and New York, but there's plenty. My sister just relocated to from California.
Oh,
Mhm.
So if I don't have a chance to speak to any of you prior to the new year, I just wish you happy holidays, whether you celebrate Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever holy holiday you celebrate. I just wish you the most blessed holiday season for yourself, with your family, with your friends, whomever you celebrate with. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you,
You too.
Sophia.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Sophia.
Have a good
Wonderful.
weekend.
I'll see
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.